Hello, my name is Sydney Harold, and today I'm going to be talking about the art in World of Wonders, while I draw some art based on the illustrations in the book. To give you a general idea, World of Wonders is a series of essays by Aimee Nezhukumatathil to describe her life through nature and animals, and to give an air of whimsy and wonder. Her illustrator, Aimee Nakamura, brings these stories to life with her beautiful drawings. These illustrations are important because they bring more information to the reader. I will explain more about this later in the video. Today I'm going to be using two of these drawings as reference, the first directly as trying to replicate the image, and the second as taking more influence from the story itself and Aimee's work to create something more my own. The first drawing will be based on the octopus, which is on page 102. Here we can see the illustration in the book, which my drawing will be based on. For starters, I start to sketch out the rough shape of what I want based on the image before. The chapter on octopi in the book starts with a story about Greece, and then proceeds to continue with more scientific knowledge, such as information that the round part of an octopus is more like the body rather than its head. The stories in the book provide a combination of scientific information while combining it with a narrative story. The illustrations help communicate the scientific information. For example, if you weren't exactly sure what she was referencing, you could see the image of the octopus before the story. Throughout this chapter and throughout her book, there are many themes which could be found. For example, in this chapter, there's a theme of environmentalism with the line, "The horizontal slit of an octopus's eye is a door that judges us. I'm certain it knows we humans are messing up entirely, that in just a matter of decades, the oceans will become unswimmable to any of us animals." Very cheery thought. Back to the drawing. The flickering you're seeing is me fixing the outlines and making the final shape. At this point, I begin to add color. As you can see, I tweak it a couple times to try and match what was in the book, but I could never quite get it that dark, patchy color that I really wanted. This chapter ends with a continuation of the story from the beginning. It brings up the death of an octopus from their trip to Greece, telling the vivid detail that the octopus changes color as it dies, from beige red to a mottled violet. Here I begin to add shadows and then proceed to blend them out. As you can see, I begin to add the dots for the tentacles, or the suckers. They were a major pain and took forever, so there's gonna be a lot of this. The illustrations, like the octopus, lend themselves to make the book more accessible to more audiences. You are more likely to read a book that has pictures than you are the one that doesn't. This is the same whether you're an adult or a kid. People like pictures. Aimee references her children a lot in her book, including in the octopus chapter. They are one of the central components to making it fun and giving little stories. Here I'm finishing up with the eye and making any final tweaks or adjustments. This is the finished piece. I wish that it was a little closer. There are a couple things that are off, but overall I'm happy with it. This is the cassowary from her book. This is the illustration that goes with her chapter story. It's on page 145. So I begin with some light sketching and then realize I have no idea what I'm doing, so all this just kind of goes away as I restart with a reference photo. And since I used a photo, I had the basic outlines already, so I could proceed pretty quickly to coloring, as I didn't need to do all of the sketching that I had before with the octopus. The cassowary is known for these killer claws, which are a couple inches long. They aren't included in her photo in the book, but I wanted to include them in mine just because she does reference them in her writing and they are a significant portion of what makes a cassowary so interesting. Her photo focuses more on the facial colors, which would be hard to imagine without it, even with the description with words. The colors just become so much more vivid when you can see them for yourself. This chapter proceeds to continue the theme of incorporating personal narrative stories with scientific facts. As you can see at this point, I started working on the background, putting in the shadows and putting in grass and trying to make it look how I wanted to. This is my final piece. I really wanted to incorporate the wonder of her narratives and essays into my interpretation of her book. So I included a little bit of the universe as well as the nature that she writes about. World of Wonders is a great book. It does an excellent job of incorporating illustrations with narratives and essays to make a whole new look on the world. I am Sydney Harold, and thanks for watching.